The next piece is a little more complicated. In this particular instance, we need to download and create the mcrypt extension. This is used specifically in Laravel. It uses to encrypt data on the server, and it's 256-bit encryption. There are a couple files we need to download to get it. One of them is the actual PHP installation. So to determine what version of PHP you're using, you're going to want to type in php-v. So here you can see I'm using PHP 5.5.14. This is the default PHP version that comes with Yosemite. So let's go ahead then and download that version. PHP has a special releases page that will highlight all of the releases that have come out in recent history. So we can look for 5.5.14, and here it is. So I'm going to download the tar.gz version. And you can download it from whichever repository you like. See if we can find one in the US here. Here we go. How about php.net directly? So while I'm downloading that, I'm also going to download the lib mcrypt from this URL. This is at SourceForge, and this will download the source. So once you get these files, we're going to then have to extract them and then download some requirements, specifically autoconf. And then we're going to go ahead and do a make on all of this, and it's going to build it, and then we're going to have to plug it into our PHP server. So let's go ahead and go in and do our extract. So these should be downloaded into our downloads directory. So let's go ahead and go back to our terminal, and let's find out where they're downloaded. So we're going to go directly into our downloads directory. All right, so the first thing we can do is we can go into the extract. So we'll go tar zxvf lib mcrypt -2.5.8.tar.gz. All right, so that was extracted. Then we can extract zxvf php -5.5.14.tar.gz. This will take a little bit longer because this is all of PHP. All right, so now we have that extracted. Now we can go ahead and remove those zip files. So we'll say rm star.gz. All right, so let's go ahead and go in and configure the lib mcrypt. So we're going to change directory into lib mcrypt -2.5.8, which is the same name as the file minus the extensions. All right, so now we're in this library, and we can use the configure script to get everything configured appropriately. And this will check your environment and get everything ready for you so that you can do a make on it. Now, all of these command line things that I'm doing require you to install Xcode tools. So you want to make sure you have that installed. If you tried to do some of these things, you wouldn't be able to do them without having them installed. And this includes things like curl and make. So we're going to use make. So make will get everything prepped for our build. It's always fun to do this. It's like you're in the matrix. All right, so now let's go ahead and say sudo make install. Now we do sudo because that will allow us to authenticate as a root user, and it will install this to our system. And then enter your password, and hopefully everything will go. So you can see it installed some things in the user local, which is where we want it. All right, so we're good there. So now we need to get autoconf. So let's go ahead and go up a directory. And now let's go ahead and do curl -o http://ftp.gnu.org/gnu. And now we're downloading autoconf, and then we can extract that. All right, so notice it created it all in autoconf -2.6.9. So we can go ahead and go into that directory, 2.6.9, and we'll do basically the same thing here. We'll configure it, and then we'll run make. So once you've done make, then you do sudo make install. This error, it means you might need to install some additional tools. So let's go ahead and type in Xcode select, install. So if you need to agree to all these things, then go ahead and agree. And this will take a little minute because it needs to download and configure a few things. Once we're all done, let's go ahead and re-PHPize it. So user bin PHPize. That's what I'm looking for. So it tells me some version numbers, and that tells me that it's got it all ready for PHP. So now we're going to configure it. Then we can go ahead and do a make, and then we run sudo make install and enter your password because you're doing a sudo. Now it's installed. Note this location. You most likely won't need it. If for some reason, if your PHP INI doesn't accept it, or if it doesn't work after doing all this, then you can worry about it. But for now, we're okay. So let's go ahead and go into our PHP INI file, and then we need to add a line. So there is a special section for mcrypt. So why don't we go ahead and put it right in here, and we'll just say extension equals mcrypt.so. And go ahead and save your PHP INI. Because it's in a protected directory, it will prompt for your password. And now the mcrypt is installed and ready to go. To set all of this into play, you'll need to restart the local Apache server. So you just type in sudo apache ctl. Depending on the version of Mac you're using, some of these commands might be slightly different.